Welcome to the Barack Obama approved world's greatest podcast, Hyphen Nation. I am your host, the one, the only, Kellen Conley. How's everybody doing today? I'm doing good. I've been up for like an hour and a half, but it was very important that I get to this topic and get it recorded for y'all because things keep popping up and I don't want this topic to get away from me. But first, the thing you're all here for, Morgantown weather report. That's right. So currently it is 63 degrees outside. Very nice weather we're having right now. Looks like the high is going to be 89. I saw 91 too. So it's going to be pretty hot today with a 100% chance of precipitation. So it's going to rain. It's going to rain, y'all. But I say 100% chance precipitation, but I'm looking at the hourly and I don't see rain until like 10 p.m. and that's a 30% chance. Oh, that's Saturday. So today, there it is, from 10 to 12, it's supposed to rain, okay? Looking at the 10-day, it's going to be really nice tomorrow. Your boy will be doing yard work. And then it's going to rain on Sunday. Then Monday and Tuesday, 70s. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, rain. All the rain. But that is your Morgantown weather report. And for all of you who tune in just for that, I hope you enjoyed this 2 minutes of Hyphen Nation or so. And don't forget to subscribe. And you can also subscribe on the YouTube channel and hit like and hit comment and all that stuff. That'd be awesome. That'd be really awesome. Especially if you're only here for the Morgantown weather report. I will start making video. Okay, I'm kidding. Just the Morgantown weather report and putting it up for y'all, if that's what y'all want me to do. Couple quick things I want to get into before I get into the main thing that is going on. I've actually watched and listened to a lot of stuff here over the past few weeks since we last sat down together. So here's a bunch of recommendations and reviews coming really quick at you. So I discovered this show on IMDb called Pretty Hard Cases, and it stars, and I need to know because I know the one girl's from Orange is the New Black, but I want to make sure I get their the cast names right. It's called Pretty Hard Cases. It started last year. It stars Meredith McNeil and Adrian C. Moore from Orange is the New Black, and it's actually really good. It's really good. I just finished the first season. I finished it last night. It's funny. It's a cop procedural. It's got some edge to it because it's on IMDb, aka now Freevee, whatever. IMDb TV was so much better, but I digress. Tara Strong's in it. She plays the main character in the first season. Dee McDermott is one of the cops. I really enjoyed it, man. Like it's set in Toronto, and these two cops are perfect strangers, so to speak. And so Sam Wazowski is played by Meredith McNeil, and then Kelly Duff is played by Adrian Moore. Duff is in the drugs unit, and Sam is in the gangs and guns unit. And then they have to come together on a case. And over the course of the first season, they build a friendship and trust one another and get to know each other, as well as all these different moving pieces just swirling around them the entire time. So the second season just came out. It came across my Fire Stick, and I was like, is that old girl from Orange is the New Black? Let me check it out. And I started watching the first episode of season 2, and I was like, I kind of like this. Let me go back and watch the whole thing. So now I'm up to season 2, and I'm getting ready to start watching that. So if you're looking for something to watch for free, Pretty Hard Cases. Not bad at all. I really enjoy it. Highly recommend. I finished Bridgerton. I actually was watching it with Angel, and in the season finale, I just couldn't do it anymore, and I fell asleep on it. And I finally finished the last 40 minutes. I don't want to say it wasn't as good as no, it wasn't as good as the first season. Let's be honest. And that's not just because there's a lot less sex and heavy breathing and all that, and we don't have the Duke and Daphne as our main characters. There's still plenty of plenty of fine people on this show to look at. The new main characters are focused on Anthony Bridgerton, and then there is this Indian family that come to the town to get the sister married, but then it ends up being the older sister who's like 26, and like the way they act towards the fact she's like 26 is so horrible. But yeah, it's pretty good. A lot of intrigue, lot of good stuff. It's a solid Bridgerton season. It's just not as spicy as the first one. So I'm not going to get too much into that, only because I could easily do probably 25 minutes, half an hour just talking about Bridgerton, but I don't feel like getting names out, and I'm not prepared. But if you're into Bridgerton, it's a Shondaland production. Go check it out. I highly recommend season 1. Season 2 is also recommended. It goes well following season 1, as you would think these things would go. But it's a little bit of a dip in the story, and it just a little bit. The plot's just not as good this year, and there's only so much you can do about that. But I still really enjoyed it. So go check out Bridgerton if you're into that. Let's see. Checked out Future's album, I Never Liked You. It's the very first Future album I've ever listened to, and I give it a solid 6 out of 10. That first song on there is amazing. It sets the tone for the album. I've talked about this on the pod. Over the past few years, I've let go of a lot of my hang-ups with how rap has changed in the last 10, 15 years, and how it's not so as lyrical. And I want my music to have meaning, and it's like I've embraced the Futures of the world and the Stove God Cooks of the world, because I listened to Stove God Cooks the first time and I was like, he's all right, he's fine. And I listened to him again last year, and my mind was blown. And I'm like, Marcus, how did I miss this the first time? How did I mess this up? And he's like, well, because you're an idiot. And I was like, oh, that's fair. That's pretty fair. And no, that's not what happened at all. But I did enjoy the Future album. I give it a solid 6 out of 10. I haven't listened to the deluxe yet, because I listened to Future, and then not that long afterwards, of course, there was a big release, which I will be talking about here shortly, which is the meat of our episode. So I do recommend that Future album, though. I Never Liked You, 6 out of 10. And what else have I listened to? I listened to, I'm going to mess this up, but her name is Leanne LaHavis, and it was her self-titled album. It came out a few years ago. She is more along the lines of neo soul, R&B, kind of vibes, and it's just some dope musical beds with her beautiful vocals over it. And I listened to it, and I was very impressed with the album. I give it a 7 out of 10 for my first experience to her. I listened to that BJ the Chicago Kid Pineapple Now and Later's album, which came out years ago for the first time, and wow, I was really impressed with that album. I give that album 8 out of 10. I really liked it. And the only reason I even finally listened to it is because I think it was called His Pain. The song that had Kendrick on it. It came across randomly on Spotify, and I fell in love with that. And I was like, all right, I gotta listen to this whole album at some point. So it finally got to it, and it's a solid album. I'm gonna be checking out more of BJ's projects. I don't know what's going on with him. He might not even be making music anymore. Hopefully he is, but I will be checking out more of his music. I was very happy with that. And the last thing I checked out is, that Pusha T album. It's Almost Dry, and I give that a 7 out of 10. Now, let me say one thing about Pusha. Pusha has put out, is this his 4th solo album, I think? Let's do a little podcast of 101, because I need to know. Yes, I just hit that. What's the mixtape? All right, let's just go to Wikipedia. So it says 4 studio albums, 1 EP, 2 mixtapes. So the studio albums is My Name Is My Name, King Push, Darkest Before Dawn, The Prelude, Daytona, and It's Almost Dry. EP was Fear of God 2, and the mixtapes were Fear of God and Wrath of Cain. Okay. I love Pusha T, okay? I do. He raps his ass off. He embarrassed the hell out of Drake, and that's 2, technically. I know how we feel about that around here on that one, but I'm counting it this morning. Oh, man. But something about... I don't know what it is, man. Like he is a highly decorated lyricist. He raps and rap. He's a rapidy rapper. He's everything that I look for when I go to listen to rap. I sit here and say how hard it was for me to finally come around on Future, but then I listen to have somebody like Pusha, and I'm like, eh. And I don't mean that in a bad way though, man. Like, it's not his fault. And I kind of had the same problem there, like with, I think the Clips were just coming into having the same issue as well by the time they're running it. Because if you think about the Clips, Hell Hath No Fury came out, or was that the second album? Yeah, Lord Willin' was the first album, and I'd say that's a damn near flawless album. Then Hell Hath No Fury comes out, amazing. Till the Casket drops, it's good, but at least, even with the similarities between No Malice or Malice and Pusha when it came to rap, and their vocal tones, you could at least kind of break it up a little bit, and then plus with all the production know-how around them. I mean, essentially with Pharrell and Neptune's kind of guiding their sound so much early on, a lot of their music would just be so lush and full, like the instrumentals and the beats, that you didn't notice as much that the tone was kind of repetitive, okay? And then of course No Malice, he went to God, and Pusha went solo, and I've just never enjoyed a full Pusha solo project. Even Daytona, like, I respect it, I really like it, but I've never revisited a Pusha album after I've listened to it. There'll be songs that will pop up every now and then. Nostalgia obviously is a good one. The joint he did with Siegel a few years ago. The Diet Coke on this album, on It's Almost Dry, a really good song. There's actually a couple really good songs on here. Neck and Wrist has Hove on it, and I think that's a good guest verse from Hove. I know Marcus and Handsome Bane will disagree, but I think that's a good guest verse. Rockin' Rollin' was cool. I just don't know how Cudi and Kanye are on the same track when everything was going down. But I mean, Pusha don't care. Hear Me Clearly's cool. Open Air, I Pray For You. I Pray For You, which is the Clips reunion, is really good. Let me pull up my Spotify here, because the Spotify should actually be able to tell me. Of course, let's take a million years to load, because I have all the time in the world this morning. Oh, stop. I literally just needed to go to search, and the search was grayed out. Haven't had Spotify on since yesterday, mind you. So annoying. Oh wait, I can just go to my likes on my Spotify. This is Spotify in 101, ladies and gentlemen. Like songs. So let's see. Where's it at? Okay. So I love Neck and Wrist, Diet Coke, Call My Bluff, and Open Air, and I Pray For You. So those are all songs I would definitely want to revisit. But a full Pusha project has just never been like, I have to play this on loop over and over and over and over. It's so dope. Listen to this. Pusha is an amazing rapper. No one's taking that away from him. But for me, man, like, the album was just, it was good. It was good. That's how I feel about most projects of Pusha's. He's had some amazing guest verses, obviously. Had some great songs with Clips. And he has some great solo songs. But as far as a solo project, I've still not heard the one that made me like really go, wow, that was incredible. So for Pusha, It's Almost Dry, 7 out of 10. And that wraps all my recommendations and reviews. So let's get right into it here. And I actually do need Spotify for this next part. So we're going to talk about that top 20 MCs list that I did so long ago in 2007. We're going to revisit it because I need to play y'all something from that episode. So let's see. Going back, I believe that's episode 38. Okay. Let's see how long it takes to come up.
The only knock he has against him in that era, besides there being so many leaks and so many unfinished things that never got official release, but we got them. There's in your East Coast rappers and your West Coast rappers, and we still do have rappers availing.
Yes, Marcus, I have it on.
Classic. And mobility, not so much.
Raekwon, all right.
Styles, Jada, Roy. The most colorful and style. Jim had it, but Missy had it more. Not or one of those indie rappers who might have done this before, and then people were probably like, "Oh, well, Kendrick just put that from."
Okay.
Out 3 major label albums, all 3 radically different from. Damn. Ears. Drake, Wale, J. Cole. I was really considering, like, man, I should just go ahead and put Kendrick in here.
In the top 20.
If you think about his peers, Drake, Wale, J. Cole, and that's his peers for me. I'm such a hater. If you think about those MCs, throw Cudi out there if you want, if you're into Cudi still. If you think about those MCs, this guy is dressed like a hamburger, and I can't flip my camera. Damn.
It was around Halloween.
Can I take a picture? Probably not. I'm not going to mess up my audio. This gentleman is dressed like a hamburger. Happy Halloween.
This is what you're here for.
Kendrick and put him with his peers. He's better than all of them.
Yes.
Cole comes the closest.
Mm-hmm.
But he is a better rapper than all of them put together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not all of them put together, but all three of them, Cole, Drake, and Wale. None of them will appear on the list. I didn't consider any of them.
Right, as I should.
And y'all know how I feel about Drizzy, and J. Cole, and Wale.
Me and Drake.
What Kendrick has been able to do in the time that he's been out is phenomenal.
Yes.
He's put out 3 major label albums, all 3 radically different from the other.
True.
The first album was a story of a day in his life as a youngster on the streets of Compton. The second one was a story of a poem that he was writing that he read to Tupac, and throughout the poem he performed songs based off his lyrics as he's reading this poem to Tupac right before Tupac dies before his eyes. Now, the most recent album, you can listen to Damn and be like, that was cool. I don't see the overarching theme. Damn can be listened to backwards. Think about that. In 2017, the newest rapper in the game may have just put out one of the, at least in recent memory, he put out the first backwards hip-hop album. I would not say that there hasn't been somebody out there, Def Jux or one of those indie rappers who might have done this before.
One of those indie rappers.
Like, oh, well, Kendrick just put that from MF Doomstop. That's messed up.
R.I.P. MF Doom, man.
I'm just saying, Kendrick's body of work and the way he raps at a high level, and the fact that he is the best rapper in the game right now, hands down, who is relevant, he has to be honorable mention.
Okay. Honorable mention. So that episode came out in 2017. It was November 9th, 2017 when that dropped. And I put Kendrick on honorable mention. So, y'all know this top 20 MCs list is a living, breathing thing. It can change at any time. And it has. So, just to run down the list for y'all. The honorable mentions back then was Missy, Kendrick, Royce, Raekwon, Ghostface, Talib, Mos, Busta, Black Thought, Jadakiss, Styles P. The top 20 itself for me was, in chronological order, Meth, T.I., Snoop Dogg, Lil Wayne, Slick Rick, Big Pun, Q-Tip, Prodigy, Ice Cube, Redman, Common, Andre, KRS, Scarface, Rakim, Tupac, Biggie, Eminem, Nas, Jay. That was the original list. When I say living, breathing thing, I can safely say that Eminem has fallen to number 5. Pac has come up to number 3. And now, with the release of his brand new album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, which I've listened to once, and I've listened to, but I listened to several songs on repeat as I was going through the album, and was sitting with it for an entire week. Kendrick Lamar is now the 3rd best rapper of all time in my book. There's absolutely no denying it. You heard it here first. With this album's release, he's now vaulted himself over all those rappers into the top 3. He took 5 years off. 5 years. And in that 5 years, nobody knew what he was doing, man. We had no clue. He would pop up on a verse every now and then. Obviously, he was on the songs with Baby Keem earlier. That was last year. I mean, because it's only May. Maybe it was last year. Yeah, he was in the Super Bowl performance with Dr. Dre and Snoop and 50 and Eminem and Mary J. But we didn't hear from Kendrick, man. Like most rappers, when they are actively in a career, they come out every few years. Like even with Drake, like Drake just came out in 2021. His last album was Scorpion. There was never a moment where you weren't aware of even with the pandemic, of what was going on with Drake. Wale has consistently released almost an album a year since he got released from Warner Brothers a few years ago. And he just dropped an album not that long ago. Excuse me. Cole dropped the off season last year, and he's building up to this whole fall off album that we know is coming. So even with Cole being as reclusive as he is, he's still around. Nobody knew where Kendrick was, man. Nobody had any clue. And then, out of nowhere, you get the Instagram post, this will be my last album on TDE, and I look forward to seeing all my fans again and releasing new material, and people started to get hyped. But we still had no date. We had no clue. So nobody knew what Kendrick was doing, man. Like, and not to say TDE didn't. I'm talking about the public. I'm talking about me and you. Me and you. We had no idea. He dropped The Heart Part 5 2 weeks ago, I believe. 2.5 weeks ago, something like that. And then it was announced. I mean, I think he had already announced that Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is coming out on May 13th. And from the moment I listened to The Heart the first time, I didn't listen to anything else but The Heart Part 5 until I started playing the new album. The Heart Part 5 is an amazing showcase of not only Kendrick's ability to, again, tell a story through his music, and this is in 3 verses, not only display a immaculate flow, that's funny, immaculate flow throughout the song, over a jazzy beat, which has remnants of, it sounds like What's Going On to Me. I don't even know if that's a sample. And he's just like, I do this for my culture, let you know what it look like with a bulletproof Rover. Like he lifted a Hove bar, but he starts that second verse. Oh, it's just beautiful. That second verse is just obviously my favorite verse. The third verse is amazing too. But even the way he's talking to the beat, he's like, take the drums out. And then they take the drums out and it just goes bass line. Do-do-do. And it's like you just know you're witnessing a master at work. As far as the album goes, I'd like to say after first listen, it's the most accessible. No, I don't want to say it's the most accessible. It feels that way because he's been gone so long. I say Good Kid is still his most accessible album, because even if you have no clue what you're listening to, the whole story of A Day in the Life of Compton and Shireen and the Backseat Freestyle and his friend getting killed, and even with all of that, and then Maya Angelou, even if you're ignoring all of that, the songs on Good Kid are just so good that you can take them for what they are. To Pimp a Butterfly is a little bit more condensed as a whole, so it's harder to think of that as a bigger project, as a, it's such a, all the pieces are part of a whole with To Pimp a Butterfly. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's harder to kind of pick songs out. Like All Right is obviously one that gets pulled out because it was a big song. He performed at the Super Bowl, but still, besides that, it's kind of difficult. Damn, of course, has DNA and Humble and Loyalty, all great songs in their own right. But again, I'm listening to the dissect that they did on Damn a few years back, and the denseness of all of this, because you listen to Damn and you're like, man, that was a good album. That was a good album. And then to find out that if you listen to it backwards, it tells the story the whole other way, and then how the parallels between Jesus and Kendrick and all this. Not that Kendrick's ever come out and said this is what this means, and I have not looked at the Genius annotations. I don't even know if Kendrick does Genius annotations, but just from what Cole Kushner is saying on Dissect, that it's a heavy project, bro. It's a lot of stuff going on in Damn. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is, let me pull up the track list, man. Let me go back. Is it going to be sitting here? Of course not. Spotify. Why even bother? I don't want the microphone. I'm going to title this episode Fighting with Spotify. Jeez, oh Pete's. Mister. There it is. Alright, man. United in Grief. Amazing. N95 just had a video drop. Amazing. Worldwide Steppers. Amazing. Die Hard, amazing. Father Time with Sanford on it. Shout out to Marcus, man. I know he's a Sanford fan. Rich Interlude, Rich Spirit. We Cry Together. We Cry Together. We Cry Together gives me Big Kim vibes. Big Kim vibes. But obviously, no spoilers. Kendrick is not killing his girlfriend and stuffing her in the trunk and then going to pick up their child together. But the whole thing between Kendrick and Taylor Page, it's a lot, but it's real. It's an argument that happens all the time. Maybe not in those exact words, but yeah. Purple Hearts, Summer Walker, Ghostface coming through with the all-star verse. Come on, man. Count Me Out. Crown, Silent Hill. I don't have any opinion on the Kodak Black, man. I don't support what that fool did. I don't know why Kendrick feels like he needs to use them, but I'm not going to let that distract me from enjoying the album. Savior Interlude, Savior, Auntie Diaries. Auntie Diaries is pretty incredible. I did not mean to do that. Don't hit me at YouTube with a copyright strike for 2 seconds. I like Auntie Diaries a lot. I know he drops the F word several times, but I also feel like he was making a huge point in that song because I've never heard anybody else in hip-hop talk about transphobia and supporting transgender people at all. So kudos to Kendrick. And then Mother I Sober. That song it's a tough one. It's a real tough one. And then it ends with Mirror. It is such a good song. I really, really love it. We interrupt this episode of Hyphenation, already in progress, just to say, breaking news, I've updated the 20 MCs again, the greatest of all time. I'm listening to the bar exam too while I'm mowing, and it's really hard to listen to those first 4 songs of that mixtape, and as drunk as Royce was. I love Royce so much, man. Again, like I said way back then, he makes me want to rap. He makes me want to rap because he's so dope. And he was honorable mention last time. T.I. and Method Man are now honorable mention. Snoop is like number 20 now. Royce is number 10, followed by Andre. Kendrick's number 3. I don't want to take too much time away from Kendrick, but I love Royce so much, man. And he's one of those MCs that if I had to choose between an artist to listen to for the rest of my life on a desert island, he'd be seriously up for consideration. Love Royce. Don't always agree with everything he does, i.e. the whole Slaughterhouse situation, but just saying, he's unfuckwittable. And I know I don't like to cuss on here anymore, but I had to say that. So Royce is number 10. Back to your regularly scheduled Hyphenation. Thanks, y'all. This album is actually 2 discs, which is funny because I was just thinking to myself listening to this. I was like, I saw it was 18 songs, but I was like, man, I mean, with streaming everything, nobody really puts out two disc projects anymore. There's no 2 CDs, no double albums, no triple albums. There's not really a reason for it when everything can just be thrown on one playlist, such as Spotify. And then lo and behold, I found out that this album was a double, which pretty much puts this as one of the best double albums of all time, right up there with All Eyes on Me, Life After Death, To the People that Kendrick passed to get to my top 3. I don't believe it's the last time we'll hear from Kendrick. I feel like with him leaving TDE, he's taking control of his own narrative, taking control of his own career fully. He's got this PG Lang label that he has started. I don't know if that means he's leaving Aftermath Interscope. I feel like maybe he's just literally leaving Top Dog, and he's gonna be like PG Lang, Interscope, maybe still Aftermath. We'll see. But never in the history of rap has there been 4 studio albums out the gate. Again, I said it when you heard the clip earlier, that has been as incredible and as diverse as what Kendrick has been able to do with his 4 studio albums. I mean, let's just take a few from the list. Now, Big and Pac, obviously, they're a little stilted, but even with Pac, it was it Strictly or Tupacalypse? I want to say he started with Tupacalypse, and then Strictly, and then Me Against the World, All Eyes on Me, Machiavelli. J, Reasonable, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Blueprint, okay. Nas, Illmatic, It Was Written, I Am, Nostradamus, M, Slim Shady, Marshall Mathers, Eminem Show. M had three, then Encore. Big, he only had Ready to Die and Life After Death while he's alive. Now, I don't know other, like I'm looking at other people on the list. I don't know KRS-One and Scarface and Rakim's albums off the top of my head like that. And obviously Andre's never released a solo album to really compare those. But just in the top 5, the former top 5, M is the closest to releasing that much music in a row that was that incredible. And even some people will say the Slim Shady LP was a little dicey because it came from the Slim Shady EP. And really, if you start with Marshall Mathers, which is his full first completely new material since he signed with Dr. Dre, he had 3 in a row. So I'll give M 3 because I'll say Marshall Mathers and then I'll say Eminem Show. No, M had 2. Sorry, I'm getting my numbers mixed up. M had 2 in a row, but if we're not counting Slim Shady, which I'm not in this case. I'm willing to say this might be my favorite Kendrick Lamar album as of right now. It's recency bias. I understand that. It's very important to understand that. I do love me some Good Kid. I do love me some To Pimp a Butterfly. And I'm actually re-listening to the collector's edition of Damn because I've never listened to the album back to front. I've never actually done that. So on Spotify, there's a collector's edition of Damn where the album's just backwards, sequence backwards. So I'm listening to it backwards. And honestly, I might be enjoying it more than the other way. I know it's always been a thing that you just listen to it backwards and you can get the story in reverse essentially, but I've never listened to it. So I might like this track listen a little better only because Duckworth is my favorite song on that album. My favorite. I can bump DNA constantly. I can mess with some Humble, some Loyalty, but I can listen to Duckworth over and over. The storytelling between Top Dog and then Ducky, and how if Top Dog had murdered Ducky, then Kendrick would grow up without a father, and then he'd be shot in the street. Come on! Now I don't know how true to life that was. I feel like it was pretty true to life, honestly. But the parallels is just stupid scary and stupid good, man. I love it. Oh man, Mr. Morale is an amazing album, and I'm just gonna check one more time here because I like several songs off of this. Obviously, I liked it in '95, Die Hard, Father Time, Rich Spirit, Purple Hearts, Count Me Out, Crown, Savior, Interlude, Savior, Anti Diaries, Mr. Morale. The whole album is just gorgeous, man. And Kendrick don't miss. That's what it is, and that should be the episode title. Let's go ahead and have me put this down before I forget. Remind me at noon to name this episode Kendrick Don't Miss.
All right.
Thank you.
Remind you at noon.
Cool. There you go. Kendrick Don't Miss, man. And then if you add in, of course, Overly Dedicated, the Kendrick Lamar EP, Section 80. It's really crazy to see someone come in, and he's only been doing it for, like, what? Let's say 15 years at this point? 14 years at this point? For someone to come in to hip-hop this late in hip-hop's lifespan, because hip-hop started in the early 80s, late 70s. For someone to come in this late in hip-hop's lifespan and essentially unlock the code the way Kendrick has, I don't know what I was waiting for, but you can't do that and then not be the third best MC of all time. And honestly, some days he might be number one, man, because Jay could never, and that hurts my heart to say that, Jay could never. And I love Jay. I love Jay so much, man. But Jay could never. Maybe he could. But on this level, no. Could Nas? Young Nas, maybe. You drop Illmatic Nas into today, and then he see everything that's available to him and see that he could succeed doing him and staying who he was, and not trying to be commercial. Nas could maybe do the same thing. And maybe Jay too, but I also know that Jay loves making money. So some days it could possibly be Nas, Kendrick, Jay. But I'm going to say most of the time it's still going to be Jay, Nas, Kendrick. Just because I love Jay so much and Jay's brought so much joy to my life. But it could honestly be Kendrick, Nas, Jay. Wow. All right, man. Hyphen Nation is brought to you by Hyphen Podcast Group. Great podcasts, great friends. I don't even know what the tagline is. HyphenPodcastGroup.com. Shout out to each and every one of y'all that have been a part of this for 5 years, man. Shout out to Handsome Bane. Shout out to Showing Mad Love. Shout out to Everyday Rogue. Shout out to Lamb. Shout out to Malaysia. Shout out to Alejandra. Shout out to Melisette. Shout out to Melisette, man. Shout out to Gerbo. Shout out to Asti. Shout out to Kit Kat Chinetti, man. Shout out to all y'all, man. I don't feel like I shout y'all out enough. Even though those of you who are no longer part of the group for various reasons, whether you've just not stopped podcasting or you're just out there in the wind because you're trash, I forgive you even though you're trash, bro. Come to the light, okay? Come to the light. You can find Hyphen Nation wherever podcasts are podcasted. If you're on Apple Podcast, hey, I got it right. Give the show 5 stars. And then if you don't really like the show, you can give me a trash review and I'll read it on the show. But by giving it 5 stars, it gives them more exposure to the show. On Spotify, once you've listened to an episode, you're able to also rate it 5 stars, so I appreciate it. If there's any podcast platform that you listen to that you can't find Hyphen Nation on, or any of the other great Hyphen Nation podcasts, please let me know as soon as possible, and I'll get that fixed. I promise. If you want to reach out to the show, it's B-hyphen, B-H-Y-P-H-E-N at gmail.com. Social media, at B-hyphen on Twitter, Hyphen Universe on Facebook, and the B-hyphen on Instagram. If you want to go Hyphen Podcast Group route, it's Hyphen Podcast Group at gmail.com, Hyphen Pod Group on Twitter, Hyphen Podcast Group on Instagram, and Hyphen Podcast Group on Facebook. Reach out to me any of those ways, okay? Power of positivity is real. Get that negativity out of your life. No matter what it may be, no matter what you have to do, you got to do you. Always. Remember that. Yeah. And while I'm saying that, give people their flowers while they're still here, man. It's very important. Tell people how much they mean to you, because you never know when it's their time to go. Life is too short. Tell people what they mean to you. That's exactly why, even though I don't want to talk to my sister, I love you, I forgive you, but you're toxic. Even though I no longer talk to somebody else I already mentioned a few minutes ago, I love you, I forgive you, and you're toxic. That's why you're not in my life. Make sure you let them know that, man. Okay? For real, for real. What else? What else? Oh, call your mom, call your dad, call your sister, call your brother, call your aunt, call your uncle, call everybody. Stay in touch. Send a Facebook message, send a telegram, send a carrier pigeon. It does not matter. Just do it and do it and do it, do it. I promise I'm not trying to make TikTok videos right now. I promise. Oh, man. I appreciate each and every one of y'all who've been here for 198 episodes of Fire! It's been a minute since we did that one. That's right. 197 episodes preceded this one. You can go check them out. Go listen to them all. Let me know what you think. If you're on the YouTube, hit subscribe. Leave a comment on the video. I'll read your comments on this show. Hit the bell and you won't miss any notifications, and like the videos, man. Absolutely. HyphenUniverse.com. If you want to stay up to date with all of everything I'm releasing throughout the week, HyphenUniverse.com/links, or the link in my bio. Any of my socials link right to that list, and you can see what I'm releasing throughout the week, man. It's really cool stuff going on, at least in my opinion. I love doing it. That's all that matters. I love doing it. What else? Oh, if you want to sign up for the my newsletter, it's not going to write itself, where I try to write periodically just 500 plus word pieces about different things. You can go to b-substack.com. That's sign up link is also on my website, hyphenuniverse.com. You can sign up on the website right there, and then you'll get the newsletter when it comes out. Oh, man. 198 episodes in the can. Kendrick is a bad man. I want to be like Kendrick when I grow up. Hair is coming back. The hair is coming back. Oh, yeah. I gotta get ready for work, though, y'all. I appreciate y'all. I always do. Thank you for listening to the sound of my voice. Thank you for spending this time with me. Go out there, no matter what you're doing. Oh, try to have genuine interactions with people, man. Try to have genuine good interactions, because you never know what the next man or woman is going through, or whatever pronoun they choose. And so your kind words could save their life or someone else's. Always remember that. Good interactions, man. Please do that. Go forward. Go get you a burger if you're into that. Go eat you a salad if you're into that. Go look at the clouds. Go watch the rain today. I'm just killing time at this point. Love y'all, man. And I say all that to say this. Thanks, y'all.